This is DJB and welcome to Photo Critic TV, episode number 11. Welcome all. For those of you that don't know, go to www.photocritictv.com, click on click to submit. I'll have a look at your photographs and critique them online, on camera. You can have a look at my portfolio at www.djbworldphotography.com. Have a look at that. Let's get going. Episode number 11. First one is from Sigrid Bullock. Sigrid, I just tried to Google your home city, Anchorage, and it looks like you're emailing me from Alaska. I don't know if that's correct or not, but that's pretty cool. So thank you, Sigrid. Let's go to the first one from Sigrid. Sigrid is shooting with a Canon A1 manual, and these photographs were taken in Rome. So let's have a look. The first one, Sigrid, very nice photograph. The lighting's really cool here. The only thing I would say is I would have moved a little bit to your left so that you're looking straight down the hallway rather than standing slightly off center to your right, just to kind of get a better perspective there. Lighting's nice. Technically the photograph looks fine. It is quite small, the version you've given me, so it's kind of hard to look at the sharpness and depth of field and stuff that you've used, but it does look fine from the image that you've given me. So thanks for that, Sigrid, for the first one. Your second photograph, again from the Colosseum. Thank you for that. Sigrid, the first thing I'd say about this photograph is it is just a little bit disinteresting. I don't know what it is exactly that's your subject, and I don't think what you've captured here is enough of the environment so that we can kind of work that out. So maybe what I would have done is actually step back a little bit and included a bit more of the walls on the left and right hand side. But yeah, there's just not a lot going on here. I don't really know what it is that you're actually trying to capture. We can kind of see, yes, there's a bit of stone, a few archways, but that's about it. But Sigrid, apart from that, the lighting is nice. It's consistent. There's no harsh shadows, but I probably would have brightened it up a little bit more as well. It does look a little bit kind of dullish, like you've been shooting in kind of some muddy shadows, I guess. But yeah, I think the main thing with this is there's just not a lot going on here that's of interest to us. So I think that's the biggest problem, but that's okay, Sigrid. Thank you for those. Let's go to photograph 3 from Anne. Anne's from Melbourne. Thank you, Anne. Anne's shooting with a Canon 550D with a 50mm f1.8 lens. And Anne's done a little bit of work in aperture, convert it to black and white. That's fine. So, photograph 3. It's time for Aaron. OTB on photograph 3. Off the bat, beyond the frame. Aaron, how are you?
Good, thanks, mate. Good to be here.
What's news? What's been happening? How's the dating scene?
Going alright. Could be better.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on a date where the girls offered to pay for everything?
Yes.
What would you do? What did you do?
Ordered more.
What? Ordered more of everything. So
yeah.
You knew before she was going to pay.
Yep.
I'm glad you worked that out. Alright, let's get on with the photographs. What the hell are we talking about here? Okay, Anne, I'm going to pass this over to Aaron. This is what we do here. 7 seconds. OTB on photograph 3. Off the bat. Aaron's never seen this photograph before. Are you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Take your time. It's okay. Don't stress about this.
Cheers to you too.
Cheers. Cheers, Anne, and cheers to your best pal. Is that all you've got to say?
Well, you employed me to say one thing.
Alright, Anne, thank you for this photograph. Really nice. The black and white conversion you've done, it looks great. Good choice. Very neutral backgrounds, which is non-distracting. There's two things that I would say here. The first one is her forehead is a little bit bright, so in aperture, perhaps try and tone that down a little bit because it looks a little bit overexposed there. That's not a big deal. But also, I would have actually stepped back and created some more space on the left-hand side so that it looks a bit, again, it looks a little bit tight. The cropping looks a bit tight. So step back so we can see a little bit more on the left here. So it's a bit more, it feels a little more comfortable. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. But yeah, good job with the black and white conversion. One other thing I just noticed was the logo on the wine glass. I think that's a little bit distracting. If you'd actually made that logo on the left or right hand side of the glass where we can't actually see it, it would have looked a bit nicer, I think, because my eye kind of goes to that rather than your pal's face. So composition's nice. Eyes are on the top third line. Her head is on the right third line, which is great. Rule of thirds done well there, but definitely just step back and create a bit more space. Thanks, Anne. Let's go to the last one for episode number 11. It's from Mr. David Pratt. Dave, shooting with the Sony A55 and the Tamron 90mm f2.8 macro. This is a good lens, I've heard. I don't actually have one of these. So Dave's just asking, do I think that this photograph works in portrait orientation as opposed to landscape? So portrait is taller rather than wider. So actually, Dave, I think in this particular photograph, yes, it does work, definitely, because we can see the flower itself and where it's come from, so the base of the flower. So you've done well here, Dave. This one, what else can I say? It actually doesn't look quite as sharp as some of the other images that you submitted in episode 8. Maybe if you're doing some work on aperture, see if you can sharpen up the flower itself, because I think that's definitely the subject or the biggest point of interest here. Sharpen that up and brighten that up a little bit, because it does look a little bit dull. But again, I love the greens in the background. It really helps bring out the flower in the front and creates a nice contrast to it. So that is all good, but perhaps just try and just sharpen that up a little bit, Dave. I think technically that's the only thing, but the composition's totally fine. It's the bud of the flower is on the top third, rule of thirds, which I always go on about, employed well here. So that's about it, Dave. Thank you very much, and thank you everybody for watching. We shall catch you again soon.